Okay. Hello, dear all. Thank you very much for inviting me here, and it's my pleasure to be here today. So my name is Mkrtich Dallakyan. I'm Program Officer at UNICEF Armenia. I believe that many of you heard about UNICEF. Does it sound similar, like familiar to you? So anyone who doesn't know about UNICEF here? Okay, one person. Okay, that's a good. So UNICEF is a part of UN body, which is an organization which is doing mainly activities for young people and for children, mainly. And the project that I'm here with is for young people and adolescents, and it's called Adolescents for Climate Action in Communities. This is the project that UNICEF is doing with Austrian Development Agency, and we kicked off the project in 2019. So it's a 3-year project, and I'm going to speak about the main things we're doing within this project. It's a brief presentation about the project, and then the floor will be given to Narek for his main.
The UNICEF is the UN agency that focuses on children and adolescents.
Yeah, it's like, do you know how abbreviation is opening up? Anyone can give some hints?
United Nations Children, something for children.
Education Fund.
International Children Education Fund. Yeah.
But what is I?
International.
International. So the project actually started in 2019. Before that, UNICEF was not really in Armenia involved with climate action projects. And then the problem arose mainly because of the things that we saw that it's challenging and there is a need for the intervention. So the problem that the challenges that children in Armenia are facing are mainly with impacting rural communities and livelihoods, as you know. And the target of the project are mainly rural communities and 33 consolidated communities of Armenia. So as you know, the climate change and the effects of climate change are multiple and they're diverse. But the main ones are that the children in Armenia facing it's in like livelihoods, their ability of learning is challenged, and the things that are going to happen like afterwards are going to be more and more challenging. So there was a need for intervention. So what we want to change with this project, this is the main outcome of the project, let's say, is that we want adolescents to become resilient agents of climate action and bring some solutions in their communities. So how we're going to do, the project has 3 main pillars. The first of all, so we are entering the schools. So for now, the school system is that the per se climate change is not anyhow in the textbooks, and moreover from this year and from January mainly there is going to be this project-based learning thing which is mandatory in the schools of Armenia, and we're going to link climate change to this project-based learning, and basically by teaching to young people in the schools, climate change, like what is climate change and the main things that it's containing, and giving them possibility to do some project in their schools is going to give them this possibility to link, like what they learned and also the actions that they can do. So as I told, the main target are 43 consolidated communities. So these are communities, the schools of which we are going to enter with the manuals that we have developed, and I will show you like afterwards. And the first and the main thing is that apart from the manuals and training of teachers that we're going to do with this project, we are also doing climate risk assessment in these communities. So this is something that have never been done in Armenia. And basically what we're going to do is that, first of all, with DRR national platform, which is Disaster Risk and Reduction National Platform, we're going to assess what kind of climate change risks are in these communities. So after knowing the needs, and the challenge that these communities are going to have, we're going to give this let's say list and of the problems, let's say, to the communities and say, this is the main thing they're going to face, and let's think how you can actually contribute with your schools, with these projects that we're going to fund afterwards, how you're going to contribute to kind of solutions. because we know that the problems cannot be solved within one project, but at least with this possibility to give the seed funding to young people in the schools through project-based learning, that somehow can actually contribute to the solution of it. So if in one community, let's say of Ararat, there is a problem of water scarcity, and the young people do know that this is a major problem, with the seed funding that we're going to give, they're going to somehow contribute. Let's say, make this problem, if they know that there is this problem, they're going to make maybe awareness raising campaign in the community, or somehow to bring this to the attention that this problem is existing, and this problem is going to be actually be felt and be seen even more in the upcoming years when this challenge is going to be more and more. So we're going to teach them to be more active in their communities in a way. Yeah. So who we target? This is the main number of these people, the adolescents that are living in these 33 consolidated communities. So teachers, 2,470 teachers. How the teachers are going to be participating in this project is that, first of all, we develop manuals on climate change, and now we're passing actually to the second stage when the teachers are actually trained on the climate change education and project-based learning. So these two are coming together, and these teachers are getting trained. So next year already, when the project-based learning is mandatory, they're going to enter the school already equipped with this knowledge and the skills and going to deliver the topic. And then also the community stuff. Yeah, this is one of the main things as well, because okay, teachers are there, they know what is climate change education, they know how to do project-based learning. Kids are going to learn throughout 1 year, but then we want this sustainability. So we're also going to train the regional administration teams. Yeah, so they know, actually they will learn how to incorporate this in their community plans and the budget. So because each community has this community budget, and they also can actually have this point of doing some greening and budget things for climate-related activities. Before starting the project, actually, there was a need to know what is the situation. So we have done this KAPB, as it states for Knowledge, Attitudes, Practice, and Behavior Study. So to know the situation, what is and how the children, how young people, and also adolescents, young people, and also adults are comprehending this topic. What is their attitudes, knowledge about this? And it's very interesting study that I have brought a copy of it, and then there's also available online. The situation is really diverse, and in some communities, young people are like raising the need that they want to learn more about climate change per se. And then there's this another thing that adults, on the other hand, they say, okay, this is not really interesting for us. We need more economic interventions. This is not the first problem that Armenia needs, even though, as you know, climate change is not going to just be, it's not going to come in one day. It's not going to come in one, let's say, sphere. It's going to raise multiple of risks, which Armenia also need to take a measure steps on. This is the manual that we have developed. So there are two manuals for the teachers, and both of them have been authorized by the Ministry of Education, Science, and Sport. So it's going to enter the school. So before that, we worked a lot with our experts on. And first of all, we have done a training for 60 teachers, to see what's their feedback, and how we can actually go with more teachers on. And it was a training that was conducted in July, August. It was a success, and now we are going to enter this measure 43 communities of Armenia. Which is what I told. 60 teachers have been trained on, and furthermore, 494 teachers will be trained. And this is about local climate adaptation and mitigation actions that I told we are implemented with Disaster Risk Management National Platform Armenia, and we are seeing what are the risks currently in the communities. And this study is also going to be available. And then together with Ministry, with Territorial Administration, we are going to create one, let's say, a single source, because we're going to see what are the risks of the communities nowadays, let's say, in a year time, but this is something that needs to be updated afterwards as well. So this is not going to be one-time thing, but then it needs also interventions from the communities as well, because the risks are now there, but more risks are going to come and some risks are going to change as well. Yeah. So I've tried to do it in a very short, brief way, because the project is really, really broad. But yeah, as far as this was just a brief presentation. That's it. Of course, you can ask questions on. Thank you.
Are you? This is very exciting. Are you collaborating with existing organizations that are working with teachers like?
Yes. Yes. So basically, for like TOT thing, 60 teachers were collaborating with National Education and Innovation Center. For in Armenian, it's KZNAK, yeah, for short. It's Mkrtich Dallakyan, which is a body under Ministry of Education and Science, Culture and Sport. So this is the body which, when you want to enter the school with some manual, this body is like seeing and giving this green light that yeah, you can do it. So with them, we actually developed and together with experts, we developed the manuals, and with the Ministry of Education as well, because the project has also a steering committee of all the ministries which are in the field: Ministry of Territorial Administration, Education, and also main partner Ministry of Environment.
I'm sorry, just for clarification. So teachers themselves help develop the manuals?
No. We have like experts on climate change and also project-based learning. So with this expert pool.
So no educators were involved in
No, educators as well. Yeah. Surely.
From Armenia?
Yeah, from Armenia. So all the experts were from Armenia.
And only KZNAK is involved?
No, like KZNAK is the main body, let's say,
Yes.
who was, let's say, if we put in a percentage, like 50% of the work was done with experts from KZNAK, which is education as well. So because it's the main body which has then climate experts in, and then like gender specialists. So there were, like, let's say, a staff of pool of let's say experts which were involved in this.
Okay, so in the future, are you going to cooperate with different, with other organizations as well, or you do have this?
For what activity?
Like, for instance, Teach for Armenia, there is ATP, and they have already, for instance, ATP has like eco clubs.
So like the thing is that now with this, let's say, manuals and with this project, we're going to train the teachers, which are
not trained.
Yeah, like teachers. So then the teachers will pass the education to others, like the training the teachers. So we're entering the schools. Of course, if other organizations are interested in somehow using these manuals or the outputs of this project, of course they can. But with this project, mainly we're like cooperating with Ministry of Education and the schools that are in the targeted communities.
You mentioned you developed a manual and it's going to be into the school. I just want to know, how is it being implemented in the school? Is it going into the school curriculum full time? Is it an elective?
Yeah.
And for how long is this going to continue? And what is the possibility of it being a nationwide school curriculum?
So thank you very much. So basically the idea, let's say, the aim is that it's going to be nationwide in future. So for next year, as far as this project-based learning is going to be compulsory. So each from 7th to 10th class, you need to have at least one project in a year time. So it's a mandatory thing. So with climate change project-based learning thing that we're going to teach to the like teachers and then to the students, they can actually choose to, because this is not mandatory, which project thing they want to do, because they can do other projects. It's not really necessary to do climate, yeah? So they can choose climate, let's say. So teacher of I don't know, geography together with teacher of mathematics, because it's also not, we're not limiting only teachers of geography or which are really related to environment to do, because the idea of that it can be cross topical, yeah. And together they can actually implement a small project with coming from the students, because it's also not going to be like from up to down, but from more down to up approach. And in these 43 communities, we're going to implement it. If it's going to work, the idea is then we go nationwide, and this is becoming this is not a mandatory course, but this is for the project-based learning only, which is not in the compulsory classes. It's not going to be like because we're having these mandatory classes now. Yeah,
It's part of the assignment.
it's part of our desert. Yeah, extracurricular.
Right.
Exactly.
Is the manual available online?
Manual is available online. There are two manuals. Yeah, one is for project-based learning. One is for like teachers with. It's giving them. It's very easy build. And the thing is that now both of them are in Armenian, but then we're trying also to translate one of them. The aim is also to take to the COP27 because this is not something really like first. If we take the region, this is something that it's new. It haven't been really in other countries, so this is something to be proud of as well for Armenia. And together with Ministry of Environment, we're going to take it for presenting at COP27 as well.
Can you show it online where this is?
So basically,
You can get out of it.
you need to go to UNICEF Armenia, the website. And you can also visit our website. It's not only for this, but also for other resources. And in Haraparakum there, here is reports in English. This is the things that we develop. Yeah. Yeah, the one that speaking of is this. And it's easy, you can just click here and download it from here.
And that report that you said, assessment that you did, whatever.
KPB, yeah.
Yeah, can you show us some more findings of that? What did you find? So there's more young people who are interested than older people. Did you find that people are, generally the level of awareness, how high is it of climate change?
Like now in the presentation, I actually don't have it. But if
in the report itself is
like the hard copy of report is also with me now. I can also share it with you, but like the main thing is that young people, if you compare to adults, were more interested to learn about climate change. The first finding was that they actually lean on the schools and they find schools as a main institution to learn more about that. And they think that teachers should give this more info. Like the first source of information is schools, then the TV, internet were coming like afterwards. If we compare to adults, they were finding more TV, and let's say the 17% more of people, adults who were in the report, they were getting more source from the TV. Yeah, and
we just finished this study of 1,200 respondents in Armenia, asking them lots of questions about trusting experts, but specifically around the topic of climate change. And their level of awareness and also their trust in various expert sources. And we found out that Armenia, compared to Poland, Italy, Ireland, Sweden, Norway, and Germany, and Ireland, UK, I think was it also, Armenian population were the least knowledgeable about climate change. And we also found out that the Armenian population was the least likely to read anything, period. And so Armenian population is pretty disconnected from world events and world affairs. And this I wouldn't be surprised if you found also that a lot of people don't feel like it's their issue. Although we've also heard from people working in the climate change field that very much rural communities are starting to feel the impacts on their agricultural yield, the seasons, and so on and so forth. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of feedback you got from rural communities.
yeah, it's actually good point. Very interesting study in a way that is also showing that I would not really precisely say the number, but measure number of respondents were saying that climate change is not the problem for Armenia. And then when you're starting to ask, there were some questions about, do you see any changes in the weather, in the crops that you have, anything that you're doing because it's in rural communities? And they were saying things actually which are really happening due to climate change. And then the figures that is showing that the linkage became because of the problem and then the reality, they cannot really connect it, because climate change, when you're saying, okay, what is climate change? They were also not giving you the, okay, there's something that is going to happen, yeah, in a way that is very far from them, and something that Armenia is out of, but which the situation is not in reality. And interestingly, there was one thing that I really remember is that like simple questions, like when you're like waking up in the morning and cleaning your tooth, are you closing the tap of water and stuff? The measured part of that, the respondents were saying, no, we just keep the water running. So the simple things in their lives which can actually contribute to this, they're really not implemented.
Is the content connected with health issues?
Of the study, there were some questions related to that as well.
And in the manual also, are there connections being drawn to between climate and health?
In the KAPB study, yes, there are some questions also covering this. In the teacher's manual, some aspects, yeah, but not really, not totally.
I'm just thinking that that might be an avenue for spreading the word and piquing people's interest.
Right.
And any other questions? I'm surprised. And Mkrtich?
Well, actually, I was curious about something. So, if you did manage to in the future like, make this nationwide, is there perhaps a plan to also expand this to Artsakh?
Like at this moment, there is no plan for us, let's say, because it's mainly targeting these communities that I told you about, 33, and these communities also are taking into consideration being borderline and other aspects as well, the major risks of climate, but why not? Yeah, this could be something that we can think of as well.
Yeah.
How are you measuring the effectivity of your project, and how do you understand that you have achieved your goals?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for the question. One of the reasons of this KAPB study, which is what I told you is about, is like baseline study, like to see what's the situation now in these communities which we're entering. Yeah, like how many % of people are aware of the topics we're going to speak about, the climate change and the specific things. And then after, when the project is going to be near to the finish, we're going to do another study, final study in the same communities, more or less with the same people, same age, to see is there anything that the project changed in this timeline or not. And this is one of the things, of course, to see like before what was the situation, and then afterwards. So one baseline KAPB study, then final one, which we're going to have.
What are the milestones you are willing to do? Do you have any milestones for upcoming year, let's say?
Surely. I mean, yeah, as any project you are doing, like small project in your class, let's say even this class, you know how you plan the things, as well as in this project, you have specific milestones you're going to achieve. At least for us, for this year, we're going to finish at least half of the trainings with the school teachers. This is one of the things now we are doing this climate risk assessments in 10 communities. When I'm saying communities, this is big communities. In Armenia, this is Khoshorazvat, Narek, consolidated communities. And each community is containing different number of settlements. So when I'm saying 10 communities, it can be 300 with small settlements as well. If you take Ararat, it's all other like Bedi, Ararat, and Aftashat, so all this together. And if you know, in Armenia, last year was this more all the time this consolidation thing is happening. So before, when we started the project, there were 52 consolidated communities with the project. Then another consolidation happened. So we end up with totally different number, totally different pictures, and where even the KAPB study at first was like for different number of communities, and then we end up with new situation now. So this is also a challenging thing for us, that we hope that this consolidation will stop somehow now, and then we can finally have this like fixed number of communities, fixed number of settlements, because if it's changing also totally the project scope, and because we're going to work also with these community members, as well. So if one community is in one consolidated community, then it's changing its place. So it's totally a mess. In a way, to answer your question in short, of course, we have milestones and a lot of things to achieve. And for this year, we're going to have finishing the half of school teachers, and then with this climate assessment in 10 consolidated communities.
So this whole project is funded by the Austrian Development Corporation. I was just curious, for the projects, you mentioned student projects are down to up. So my guess is the projects are getting funded by the money from the Austrian Development Corporation. But the project, are they putting emphasis on self-sustainable projects? What happens if one day UNICEF and the Austrian Development decides no more money? So is these projects are going to be self-sustainable, or it's just like a short-term project, fix a quick problem here, then just disappear?
Thank you very much. Good question. It's a question also that can be applicable to all the, let's say, development projects which are happening in Armenia and also in the globe. In a way, the sustainability aspect is one of the major things which we take into account. That's why, first of all, we're entering, let's say, education system. Yeah, if let's say with the one aspect, the climate change education, it's going to enter the schools. School teachers are trained. It's mandatory already. They know how to do it in a way that if we step out, let's say, it's going to stay. This is one of the things, yeah, because teachers are trained. They know the like how to deliver this topic, and then they're going to pass to others. So this is one of the things that's going to stay. The other aspect is the projects that we are going to tackle, like the small community projects, which students together with their teachers in a team, let's say, going to do climate related, of course, and they're going to get funded within this project, which is not a small funding. It's up to, let's say, 10,000 for each project. Of course, they can. Good question. Dollars. But now with this exchange rate thing is really so about 10,000. They can do something really impactful. They can do something which can sustain. So we're not going to restrict them in the ideas. Yeah. The major thing is that it's need to somehow tackle a problem that the climate related risk that have been identified in the communities. And of course, the sustainability aspect is going to be afterwards reviewed by us as well. If the project is sustainable, if we step out, how they're going to do it, this is something that, of course, we're going to take into consideration.
So 400 teachers can apply for funding?
So then I will come to the question. So the funding is going to happen for, let's say this number of communities, 43, right? So we're going to have 33 projects per 10,000, yeah? And so schools are going to apply, so it's going to be, of course, a selective process. It's not going to be, if they're coming with an idea, we're just giving it to them. So then we're going to do selection. It's going to be board, yeah, commission. How is the project is really realistic? So like how the projects are going to be, many factors we're going to take into account.
Would it be at all useful to connect with some diaspora organizations that are engaged at the local community level? I'm just thinking of Faros and the Armenian Tree Project, whose kind of missions are related.
I'm not now thinking, because this case is going to happen next year. Of course, this is something that we can think of, and then we're not going to, let's say, restrain them with cooperating with our organizations as well. So the main idea is that we really want like students to come up with something that they want. So it's something from there. The teachers can be mentors, of course. This is something that they can give some ideas on. But then something that schools, if it's coming from the students, mostly their engagement, their active participation, their motivation is going to be different than is something from up.
No,
Yeah. Now I'm thinking if
I'm for project-based learning, so I appreciate that. I was just thinking in terms of this gentleman's question about sustainability, and yeah, no, I wouldn't want to interfere with project-based authentic.
So basically, if like now I'm thinking if next year a group of students with teacher, yeah, let's say have some idea which is anyhow related to the mandate of Armenia Tree project, of course, they can go to do consultations, something that they share their ideas and they can give some feedback. But an idea per se, which they are going to submit, is going to be with a small group of people, which do like teacher in a team. Yeah, of course, we're not saying that you cannot go there. This is something that we actually want them to learn and to get skills on as well, because of course, this is not a small amount of money. Yeah, if we see that around, and they can do something really meaningful for their small community, and this is we are quite sure. So by using the channels, the possibilities as well, this can be only plus for the project.
Maria? Questions? Mama? No questions. Ashraf? No? Yes, you guys, Linda? Monica? Sona? Christina? Julian? All questions from others? Okay, thank you very much, Mkrtich.
My pleasure.
Narek, please present your game and how you are related to this project also in general.
Let me just open my presentation.
Narek, explain, give us a little bit of background, what this is. And you have to speak loud, right? You didn't have any questions from Mkrtich?
Me, so?
No. He from Mkrtich.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for being here today. And special thank you to AUA Hakoyan Center for the Environment for organizing this event and giving us the opportunity to present our project. If my voice is still low, please let me know. Okay, I'm going to speak about serious gaming versus serious problem, which is, in this case, climate change. First of all, we will understand who are we, who I and my team, our inspiration to conduct this project, then my visit to COP27, the game, and also we planned to have playing session, but the game will be available in student union, and we can all get there and play the game. So, okay, let's understand who are we, who conducted this project, and the formula of our climate action. Okay, I'm the leader of the team. I'm Narek Ohanyan, a freshman in computer science, and also I'm minoring in environmental sciences. I am an environmental enthusiast, and also one of our team members is here today, Nikolan, who is marketing enthusiast. And all we gathered here with different interests and combined our interest to formulate our formula of success and did something against and do something against climate change. What was our motivation? That it was desertifying homeland. We all are from Arat region, and we are living there. We know that arid region is desertifying, and the main reason is climate change, and we have something to do with this problem. So we decided to make a change that will last more than maybe collecting trash, and generated our formula of climate action. We multiplied hard work with our interests, and then added some eco-conscience and generated our project, which is called Climapolis. And we want everyone to remember that they are parts of nature and they shouldn't destroy their integrity. And I always remember that climate change is a subject to change. And we are going to present our game that we created with our team in UNCCC COP27. First of all, let's understand what is COP. UNCCC stands for United Nations Climate Change Conference, and COP is Conference of the Parties. It is a decision-making body, and here leaders, world leaders, young people, everyone who are interested in gather together and have some discussions of climate change issue. And the first conference was held in 1995, and still there wasn't made any final decision. So the COP conferences will go on until all the world leaders make one decision to adapt, mitigate to climate change. And COP27 will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and we are going there. Also, here is the website. You can check it and read more information. I have a short video from COP21. This is very interesting and informative. Just let me check the sound. Is the sound on?
Yes.
Okay.
Meetings are usually pretty dull, but there's one this fall that affects you, me, and every inch of this planet. Not so dull, right? COP21 is a gathering of basically all the nations in the world. It'll kick off November 30th in Paris. Reason? An agreement on what to do about climate change. That's right. On how to reduce those heat-trapping greenhouse gas emissions, so we can all live healthy lives on a planet that actually looks and stays well, like the planet Earth should. Oh, sure, these meetings have happened 20 times. That's why it's the 21st Conference of the Parties. There's been a lot of talk, but not a lot of agreement. Climate has been changing so fast that this time is extra urgent, and the goals for greenhouse gas emission reductions set at this meeting will apply to all countries. So this meeting is really your meeting, and all 7 billion of us are at that table. Talking won't be enough this time, and only a rocking strong agreement will do for the future of the world at COP21. Tell your leader that this time the world is watching.
Okay, so we should understand that global issues need also global solutions, and global solutions are made by agreements between world leaders. So small solutions, small actions are very important, but also we need global actions, and COP conferences, meetings are trying to also get to that point where whole world leaders would make a lot of agreements on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, for example. So serious gaming against serious problem of climate change. What is serious gaming? Do you have any ideas? What is it? Play a game with serious expression or
Serious gaming.
Play and you don't love.
okay.
Serious gaming could be qualified as competitive gaming, for example, online gaming more specifically and skill-based, which then you can, right now it's developing into esports and then major competitions, basically turning gaming into a sport.
Okay, thank you.
I would also say that serious gaming is likely to say about the seriousness of the game. So if we take the same COP, like the leaders of the countries are playing with the issues, with the environment. So in some way, it can also be measured as a serious type of gaming.
Okay, and yeah, right. Okay, thank you. Serious gaming is skill-based gaming, so it's aimed to enhance also some skills rather than entertainment. It includes entertainment part as well, but serious gaming usually discusses serious problems with the language of entertainment and learning with games. So we developed a game which is called Climapolis, which is a part of serious gaming as well. And this game is about adaptation, climate change. In our region, there is no such game. So it is the first one in our region, which is about climate adaptation.
It's in Armenian. The game is in Armenian.
The game is in Armenian, both in Armenian and in English. It is the first game in Armenia that is basically about climate change. There are some other games connected with environmental topics, but this is the first one about climate change. And it is based on achieving 12 out of 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure that here everyone knows about the goals, 17 goals. The main point of the game is to adapt our city, which is Climapolis, to climate change and develop it sustainably. And our game is designed for scholars, teenagers, and young adults aged 12 and above. And our goal is to increase awareness of climate change issues and achieve 12 out of 17 UN SDGs, and more importantly, represent the conflict of interest of different groups of society on this issue. Because when there is an issue, there is also a group of opportunities. There are some interests, and they usually contradict with each other. So we aimed our players to understand how different groups of society can have different interests on this issue, and what they can think when they do not act against climate change, because climate change also brings them some profits, and also they usually they cause climate change with emissions, etc. So it's basically an opportunity to visualize simplified models of climate scenarios that can happen in a city. Creating this game, we applied some methods to make it more designed for entertainment. So it's kind of it is interesting, and also people can learn a lot about climate change through this game. And they should read the challenges, think, discuss within and in between groups, debate with each other, make one decision, then see the result of their decision. There are 12 challenges in our city. First of all, protect the hospital from flooding, save the drinking water, densify the city, create a new housing, adapt existing buildings to climate change, protect agriculture from drought, create a new industrial area, sustainable tourism, reduce hunger, save life underwater, adapt school, use renewable sources of energy. Can you answer my question? What of these missions are being solved in Armenia right now?
Almost none. Now use renewable sources of energy.
Okay. Yes.
Reduce hunger maybe.
Create new housing.
You mean on the national scale?
Yes.
It's hard to tell because you should also define what is like being solved, because if it's just a written policy, it's one thing. If it's an action, different thing, it's a farming, it's a different. Because we have a lot of policies in place. Which are not,
Yes, and as Mr. Dallakyan said, we kind of started adapt schools to climate change, bringing school curricula connected to climate change. This can be adapt education, the education for adapting to climate change in Armenia. And I'm sure that after several years, it will be conducted in a national in all Armenia, and we will see the results soon. And the missions, there are 3 options for each mission that the groups can choose. They all have different costs and different impact on the environment. The main indicators are saved lives, and carbon footprint and water footprint. Water footprint is the amount of water that the city uses, and the carbon footprint is the amount of carbon emissions of the city. And finally, the role-playing Climapolis, the groups of society. The first one is business sector. The second one, local government and representatives of community staff. Also climate scientists and environmentalists, farmers, citizens who say, do not touch my lifestyle, I don't want to change, and also hospital staff. Our game is designed to understand the conflict of interests of these groups on the issue of climate change.
So you will take one of the previous challenges, let's say use of renewable energy, and then all these six perspectives will have to negotiate one of those options. Let's take renewable sources of energy, and climate scientists should explain other groups of society that climate change is caused by carbon emissions, and that are the result of, for example, generating energy in non-renewable burning way, and so burning fossil fuels, and they should convince the group to
choose the option that is more sustainable and that has the less impact on environment. Also, when the choice is more sustainable, the goals are the indicator of the goal is positive. And for positive goals, when the goal goes up, our players, our groups get some points, and when it is negative, they lose their points. So, but the community staff should say that we don't have enough budget to spend it only on renewable sources of energy. We also have a lot other problems, and we can't spend all our budget because they think that this is a wasting budget, not spending. Farmers should say that let's adopt agriculture, then go to renewable sources of energy because agriculture is more important. So hospital staff should say.
They should say, "Don't touch my land." Don't build something.
Yes, and citizens they say, don't touch my land, my home. I don't want to change anything. Everything is okay. There is no climate change, and the future is so bright. And they should have discussions, negotiation. After that, vote. Each group has one vote, but you can notice that we have 6 groups, and we can have equal votes, for example, for different choices. In this case, only local government has the right to vote twice, and what they choose, that option will be chosen in the end because they are also responsible for the budget of the city. And when the budget goes down, they lose some points.
But can they be bribed? Local governments.
Right?
Right.
No, they can't, but they know that there is an opportunity to get more money from the country, loans, some that they have to return after time step. So this is our city, and these are 12 challenges and 12 goals, sustainable development goals. Also, here are our indicators. You can see the budget, initial budget, saved lives because the hospital staff is responsible for saving people's health. Because after each time step, there often some weather disasters, some flu, hails, etc. And the citizens of the city are hurt and they should be saved. And depending on their choices, the amount of saved lives differs.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is the densify the city challenge? Is there a need for city densification, or how do we read that challenge? Densify the city.
Densify the city means adapt city center to climate change. The first choice is do some reports and inform people on the issue. The second choice is to implement some structures to adapt climate change. Then the third choice is also adapt city centers buildings. So it's basically about informing on the issue and adapting only the buildings to climate change.
You played this game with a group already?
Yes. We, in our community, before starting designing, we gathered 70 teenagers from 3 schools of VEDI and organized trainings on climate change and environmental other topics connected with climate change. After they finished the course, they played the initial model of the game. We received the feedback, then re-edited the game. After that, we organized, we also organized examination of the second draft of the game, and we gathered school children and also teachers, and they played the game. We also received feedback. Then, after re-editing, we discussed with UNICEF staff, we get feedback, and again re-edited the draft. And after that, we re-editing, we played us again and re-edited the 4th draft. Then we discussed it again with UNICEF staff and make some changes connected with design. Then we played the last version of the game and stopped there. But after playing in that way, we will also collect the feedback and re-edit the game if there is need.
Now, this is the game you're going to present